Yes, now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Thomas Rant YouTube channel. You know what time it is? It is time that I talk about SmackDown. There's not a lot to cover, but there is at the same time. Where do I even start? I mean, this is the hardest part, is always deciding where to start. Let's start with how they opened up the show. WWE Champion Cody Rhodes came out, did the whole "what do you want to talk about?" and before he could even talk about anything, he was interrupted by Paul Heyman. As we know, the main event match for this week was scheduled to be Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton against Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed in the build-up to Cody versus Seth for the Crown Jewel, for the Crown Jewel Championship. But there's a bigger picture here. Yes, they are doing this Braun Bronson on SmackDown, going after Cody Rhodes for Seth Rollins. But the whole point is they are the vision. Yeah, they have a vision for the future. They're controlling Monday Night Raw, but they have come to SmackDown before, and they did say that just because they aren't drafted to SmackDown, they should not rule SmackDown out as one of their targets. And the fact that they are over here on SmackDown going after Cody Rhodes means they're causing mayhem on both brands, and the vision could spread across both brands. Now, obviously, they interrupted him. Paul Heyman had Braun Bronson with him. Randy came immediately to back up Cody Rhodes. Showed Cody Rhodes knew what was coming. Paul seen that and basically just give them a spoiler for the end of the night. Paul said he wished he could be a fly on the wall for Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. However, he doesn't need to, because Braun and Bronson are going to win that match in the main event. Fast forward to the main event. The match is a great match, and they're actually beating up Cody Rhodes the whole match. The WWE Champions get the one getting beaten up who needs the hot tag. If you ask me, it should be Randy Orton. Why? Randy Orton's the oldest in that ring. He's the slowest. The two young guns can beat him down, and then eventually the WWE Champion can get his hands on them and go beat them up. The champion of the company, the face of the company, should not be looking the weakest. I know that's what they did with John Cena, and it's good formula, but in my opinion, it should have been Randy Orton getting beaten up. But it is what it is. They were dominating, but obviously you kind of had it in the back of your mind that the legend Randy Orton and the champion Cody Rhodes would overcome the odds and beat them in the end. That wasn't until Seth Rollins entered the building and curb stomped Randy Orton, followed up by the tsunami from Bronson Reed and the win. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed got their biggest win of their career, including solo wins, when the pair of them just pinned Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. I mean, there was a time Braun Breaker pinned like 4 people in a row to go in a match. We're talking like main eventers, but that was the biggest win. And Seth was there, and they went to walk out. They proved their point. But Seth saw Cody, and he saw red, because as we know, Seth has been doubting himself on whether he's actually capable of beating Cody Rhodes, because he wants to, because he's lost to Cody Rhodes 3 times, and he's not proved it. But he has this vision for the future, and it isn't significant. It doesn't signify him as the vision for the future, as the best world champion, if he cannot beat Cody Rhodes. And he was looking at Cody in anger, and Paul knew what Seth was thinking. Paul warned him. He said, don't go after him. He's in your head. Don't go after him. Seth let Cody being in his head get the best of him, and he rushed that ring, got countered by Cody, hit a crossroads. Braun and Bronson obviously would have beat Cody up for that, except Paul wasn't letting them. Paul was like, no, stay back. They were kicking off about it, but Paul knew what the right thing to do was. Don't be fooled by all this. I know the ending of Crown Jewel. It's in my head. I know what's happening. But I like it. And I like that Randy Orton's involved with it. That makes me happy. So yeah, maybe we'll see Randy Orton versus Seth one time for the world title. I'll absolutely eat that. When we get a new draft pick, can we get Randy or Cody on Monday Night Raw? We need one of them on Monday Night Raw. I think Randy probably. I think he's done his bit on SmackDown. And speaking of SmackDown main eventers, I mean, Jacob Fatu had a bit of a video package from him addressing the thing from last week when he confronted Drew McIntyre and attacked him. He said he hates when people bullshit and run their mouth. He's been through a lot. He's been down in the dumps, and he's not going to let no one disrespect him. And that's what happened with Drew McIntyre. So I can't wait for that match to eventually happen. It's going to be a banger of a match. And if it's a full-time feud, a banger of a feud. We also had Solo Sikoa. Obviously, 3 weeks ago, he spoke about himself and his journey, kind of how he needs that United States Championship, how he's building a family of his own. 2 weeks ago, talked about Tonga Loa and all the loyalty he's brought for him. Last week, he talked about JC Mateo and all the loyalty he's brought. This week, it was Tala Tonga. he congratulated him for all the loyalty he's brought to him and promised to bring him success as well. And before he ended the video package, because he's done all 4 of the MFTs now, he said there was one thing missing to complete his bloodline. And when that's complete, they're going to be unstoppable. And do you know what I think that thing is? Nothing too exciting. It's obviously going to be Tama Tonga. Tama Tonga is coming back at some point, and then they're going to have a full-blown, massive faction. 5 people, 5 MFTs. And at some point, they need to drop JC Mateo, because it's from my understanding that JC Mateo is not actually a part of the bloodline, whereas Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, and Solo Sikoa all are. So, I'm here for it. I'm interested. I like where it's going. Because the bloodline, although like it's not great that they try to keep dragging out the bloodline storyline. The bloodline is a physical family. They are people. We don't erase the fact that they are bloodline. So it's good to utilize them as a faction. But the bloodline storyline of, you know, bloodline versus bloodline, that needs to end. But there can still be a faction, obviously. I mean, we can see that Roman, Jimmy, and Jay are all getting back together. We can see that happening. And speaking of former bloodline members, Sami Zayn, United States Open Challenge. Now, before Sami Zayn made his way to the ring, Miz confronted Carmelo Hayes backstage about what happened last week when Carmelo left him high and dry. And Carmelo said, look, this ain't working. This is done. And Miz was kind of mad about it because he was like, how are you telling me when this is done? I'm supposed to be the teacher. You're supposed to be the student. And Carmelo said, look, we're cool, but it's done. And then Carmelo tried to answer, keyword tried, to answer Sami's open challenge. And he said he didn't have the stresses of the Miz this time. And he knows he's good. Sami knows he's good. And he feels like tonight is the night he's going to take that championship. That's when the Miz attacked Carmelo Hayes. And obviously salty about what Carmelo Hayes has just done. And I thought the Miz was going to answer the challenge. But he didn't. Aleister Black walked out and accepted it himself. And I think that's a great opponent. Aleister Black and Sami Zayn have great chemistry. So yeah, that was the match that they had. And it wasn't until, obviously, I mean, last week we had Aleister Black show up and attack Damian Priest. So Damian Priest distracted Aleister Black and allowed Sami Zayn to get the win on this one. And after the match was finished, Damian Priest put Aleister Black through the table. Now, when he was getting interviewed backstage, obviously he's had this thing going on last couple of weeks with Kit Wilson, where Kit Wilson has been on about, you know, this his own type of masculine energy, and kind of been going at Damian Priest, saying that like all his aggressiveness and his anger that he's taken out on people, yeah, he's beat Kit Wilson up, but it's all overcompensation for what he lacks in actual masculinity. And Priest has kind of acted cool about it, sent him on his way, hurt him again. So this Damian Priest we've been seeing the last few weeks, that's been very angry, and then also not been getting the upper hand on Aleister Black. This week has got the upper hand on Aleister Black, and he's been way more relaxed about it. He showed up relaxed. The commentators even mentioned how he calmly brushed everything off the announce desk, where normally people do that in like a rage or in a rush. Because he was in the right mindset tonight. He did everything he set out to achieve that night. Got the upper hand on Aleister Black. He didn't care what Kit Wilson had to say. Sent him on his way and set up the match for Aleister Black next week. They're going to end it all. Last man standing. Promises to end Aleister Black. Obviously, it's obvious that they want Damian Priest to win this feud, but I'm liking what they've done. They've kept Damian Priest active and made him look like a main story star, and he does feel like that now, so well done, WWE. I doubted you when he won the world title, but you've not just put it in my face, but you've built it so that he is that. So we have to give kudos to WWE. They do know what they're doing. Just sometimes it seems like they are going about things the wrong way. And it's not the end of the world for Aleister Black. He doesn't need to win the feud. They've put him in matches. They've had him active since the second he's got here, which is exactly what they need to build stardom and build character. So thank you, WWE, for that. That is all we can ask. Genuinely all we can ask. And then we had Zaruka show up, which is mental. But they were talking to NICHOLLZ about getting women's tag team title shot, which I said, can't remember in what video, but I said that the women's tag team titles need to be defended on NXT more. I didn't mean bringing NXT superstars to the tag team champions, but I don't mind it, because if you've been noticing, WWE have been bringing NXT stars up to the main roster, not calling them up, but just having them in matches here and there. And I think that's good. It not only promotes NXT, but it gives the main roster fans a taste of what the NXT talent are like. And it gives the NXT talent a taste of what the main roster's like. And it lets us know how well they're going to blend and how well they're going to mesh on the main roster. And it's a good indicator for the future of what they might be able to do. For example, Javon Evans was here tonight. Javon Evans teamed up with Rey Fenix against Los Garza. Because he was talking to Nick Aldis about potential future coming to NXT, which is, I mean, obviously can't wait for Javon to debut on the main roster, and he had a great match against Sami Zayn last week, but it's not time. Javon Evans has so much left to do in NXT. I mean, he's got this TNA event on Tuesday, and then he's got titles winning NXT. I feel like if you're going to call anyone up, make it Obafemi. He's just lost the title, and I don't want to see Obafemi titleless, running around chasing after a title that he's just lost. Move Obafemi up. He's more than ready. And move Trick Williams up when he loses that TNA World title. Don't move Javon Evans up, not because it's not a good move for Javon, but I feel like if you move Javon, you've got to move Oba and you've got to move Trick, and then you're going to have no one on NXT. I mean, those are the three biggest stars on NXT, so not Javon yet, but I'm excited when it does happen. But anyway, Javon and Rey Fenix against Los Garza was probably match of the night, and like I said, the main roster, they don't, I mean, most people do, but a lot of people don't know the NXT talent, so the reaction that he did get when he came out compared to the reactions he was getting in the ring, it showed that WWE put them onto Javon Evans, which is good. That's exactly what you want. But anyways, back to Zaruka. They were encountered by the Secret Service. No Piper Niven. I don't know if she's injured or if WWE are dropping her. Hope they're not dropping her. Hope she's just injured or she wasn't there that week. But they were trying to put out flyers and they were trying to hire a new Secret Service member. So maybe Piper Niven is parting ways. I mean, Andrade parted ways. They're already trying to replace him with Javon Evans. I mean, he was teaming up with Rey Fenix. And now they're trying to replace Piper Niven. I hope not. Because two Scottish women worked well for a Secret Service. But it is what it is. And obviously, Zaruka rejected that offer. And then had a tag team match, which Zaruka won quite easily. Putting over the Soul Snatcher. I mean, when are you not going to? That's an incredible move. And that was a nice match to see also. We did have a moment where the Wyatt Six appeared on a screen behind Street Profits again, trying to get in their head and convince them that they're not working as a tag team. And the Wyatt Six will be seeing them soon, I mean, because they are now also number one contenders, as we've again learned, which is just so annoying because it's not right. It's not right. I don't agree with it, but I have to live with it. Anyway, last day cover, we had a contract signing between Women's World Champion Stephanie Vaquer and WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton for the Crown Jewel pay-per-view. Now, obviously, they both signed a contract. They didn't insult each other because they're both baby faces. They don't have a feud. Stephanie Vaquer just said, I respect you, I'm going to win. Tiffany Stratton just said, I respect you, I'm going to win. It's Tiffy time. And then they signed the contract. And as Tiffany Stratton was walking out, she gets attacked by Julia and Kiana James. And Kiana James was like, look at what I did for Julia. This is a proposal for you, Stephanie Vaquer. Now, obviously, it looked interesting because back in NXT, Stephanie Vaquer and Julia both showed up around similar times. And they both had a similar lifespan in NXT. Like, less than a year, they were both in NXT. And in that time, Julia became NXT champion real quick. Stephanie Vaquer became North American champion real quick. And then they faced off title for title, which Stephanie Vaquer came out on top of. And then Julia moved up to the main roster, won a US title. Meanwhile, Stephanie Vaquer dropped to the title, moved up to the main roster, hadn't won nothing yet. But now she won the world title. And the roles were reversed. At first, Stephanie was the mid-card title champion and Julia was the main champion in NXT. And they had a title for title. This time, what had it reversed, Stephanie was the main champion and Julia was mid-card champion. There was something there. There's a bit of an Easter egg there or something interesting that could happen, but obviously it wasn't. Kiana James was trying to hook Stephanie Vaquer onto the same program that just got Julia on until Tiffany Stratton jumped back in the ring and Stephanie and Tiffany fought off Julia and Kiana. Now, obviously, this is genius because how are you going to have a build between two faces who are just have respect for each other because they're both baby faces and they've got no rivalry. They're from two different brands. There's no reason to fake it. They just have a competitive match coming up. So instead they've got two people involved. So next week on Friday Night SmackDown, we don't have to think of another segment. We can put them two in a tag team match against Julia and Kiana James. Genius, right? Exactly. Decent episode of SmackDown, wasn't too long. That's what I like about SmackDown. It's nice, like short and sweet. It's the same way NXT, but NXT is obviously packed with a lot of action, whereas SmackDown's a bit more laid back and chill. Some people don't like it. I do. I always bleed blue. I'll be biased for SmackDown, even when Raw is putting on way better shows. Just SmackDown is the vibe. It's the vibe I need, like the Friday, the Blue. SmackDown seem to always just draft better people, like, in my opinion. Like, obviously they don't book them better, but they are better people. Yeah, decent episode. What can I say? Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you thought, and I shall see you in the next one. Goodbye.